Welcome into Real Talk Wrestling. I am your host, Josh. With me, the babyface, the ultimate babyface, Chris Koffler. He used his EVP status to remove Clutch from tonight's show. I am sorry. Clutch, we miss you if you're watching anywhere, wherever you may be right now. I'll call him back up. We will get the interim EVP in here and we'll reinstate you as soon as we possibly can. But until then, what is going on, Chris?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out here on a Friday night, ready to talk some wrestling.
Yes. Sorry, guys. For the next month, there's a month of June. My son started baseball, so honestly, show times will be up in the air. As in, it might be Thursday night after baseball, or it might be Friday nights, or you know, no other dates. I'll say that no other dates. It's either gonna be Fridays or Thursdays, and we'll let you guys know. And hey, that's why you should hit those alerts on YouTube because that's when we'll go live. And you're here to talk about AEW tonight. The WWE conversation will be very limited because there's a lot to talk about, right? There's a lot to talk about in AEW right now. There's some returns, there's new characters being introduced, there's CMLL, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's a cornucopia of promotions, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. It's actually pretty entertaining as of late. But I can't get myself worked up today, Chris. I can't. I can't yell. I can't scream. I can't get angry. And it's not because of what you think. It's because I'm losing so much interest in AEW. And I know I just said there was so much going on, but I'm just losing kind of interest in AEW at this point where I do watch it and I'm numb to everything. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good match. That's cool. That's a great match. But I just realized something, Chris. I'm not a sicko.
So that's maybe why you haven't enjoyed it, because AEW is for the sickos.
I wish I was a sicko like you and everyone watching all around the world right now here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. But I'm just telling you, maybe that's why I don't feel invested anymore, because I'm just not sick enough to enjoy this nonsensical booking that's happening.
Not sick, a sicko.
A sicko. I'm not sick. I'm not a sick sicko that enjoys whatever we're getting on a weekly basis. Now, let me tell you something. There was some good matches this week on Dynamite. There was some even decent stories going on Dynamite. But I got some problems, and I don't want to complain this entire show. So we're going to talk positive and we're going to talk negative. We're just going to be critical and give our opinions out. So, Chris, after watching Dynamite, I asked you, did you watch Dynamite? Because guess what, guys? I have to ask that now. And guess what? If he would have said no, I wouldn't have blamed him. I would have said, oh, what was Family Guy on? Would you catch an episode of The Office? Right? Did you decide to do laundry? Right? Anything besides Dynamite, I totally understand. So, Chris, how was the show?
Forgettable. Like, I don't know. It's weird. We were talking a little pre-show about it. It wasn't like all that drastically different than last week or the week before. No major changes, anything. But like the last couple of weeks, there's been something about it. I don't know how to describe it. Last few weeks have been good. They've been more entertaining than usual. And it's like they tweak something again, and it was a very forgettable Dynamite. Like I couldn't barely tell you half of what even happened on it 2 nights ago at this point.
Wow. I watched Dynamite today. I did not watch it Wednesday, did not watch it Thursday. Didn't have time. I did say that I did watch it right before the show, actually. Just wrapped it up about an hour ago. And it was a show that did move forward some programs and also a lot of nonsense, what you expect with Tony Khan booking at this point, because again, for the sickos, more Tony Khan for the sickos, by the sickos, right?
Yep.
You know what it reminds me of? I think I saw that tweet around like 6 a.m. this morning. You're watching a game right now. I don't know what game you're watching, but you're watching a game right now, you mother effer.
I'm not watching anything.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right. Anyway, it reminded me of.
You want me to turn around my camera right now?
No, I do not. It reminded me of
the camera right now.
Look into my eyes. What do you see? It's a cold. Listen, I miss CM Punk. All right, let me get back on track. It reminded me of the dude who goes, "This is for all my gigolos and gigolettes." Do not try.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's exactly when I read that tweet from Tony Khan. I do booking for all the sickos because those sickos are the people I care about. Whatever he said, I was thinking, is this the gigolo guy? That is who he books for.
I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious.
That's first off, that's the type of person that thought came to my mind. Not that he's probably a bad. I don't even know who the guy is. He might be a genius. Probably is a genius for all we know. I don't know. But the fact is, I'm like, that's his target audience right there, and I can't relate anymore. I can no longer relate. And I don't know. We've been through a year, months and months and months, maybe years at this point of who killed AEW. It's people leaving. I do like what they're doing now, kind of, right? They're introducing an authority figure on TV. Now there's two. Now there's a power struggle, right? We got the Bucks, the EVPs, and then now we have Christopher Daniels, who is the new authority. He's the babyface authority figure.
Yep.
Something we've wanted for months, for years. We wanted an authority figure on TV. I did.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah. But was it the right choice? Was Christopher Daniels the right choice to be the authority, the babyface authority figure?
I don't know. Let's give it some time. Let's see if he kind of grows into it. Right on the surface, maybe not so much because he hasn't been much of an on-screen personality. Like they didn't build him up to this. It was just here you go. He's there, you know? Like it would have helped if they had something coming along and him working his way up to this position, have some on like I feel like I haven't seen him since like the second year of AEW, like barely at all, right? Since like 2020.
Well, we don't watch Collision, Chris. We don't know.
Yeah, but like for him to be, just all of a sudden this huge presence on Dynamite to go from just not being on it to now he's an authority figure. But I'll give it some time because I do like this idea. Back in the day in WWE, that was always the biggest thing were the authority figures. Stone Cold versus Vince, and then you had everyone versus Triple H and Steph, and those were good. They were such a big thing that we had to go a long time when we didn't have one because it just didn't work after a while. I think plenty of time has passed now to where that can be a good wrestling storyline again if it's done correctly.
So you don't watch WWE often, which I watch weekly now since it's good. And the way they introduced Adam Pearce was periodically he'd be like, "Oh, I'm the person." He would never say he's in charge, or he was always recognized as the middleman, right at the very beginning. We're like, "What is this Adam Pearce doing here? What is he like?" They never officially named him anything. He was always in the back.
Yep.
Oh, you have a problem? Let me call Vince. Let me call Stephanie. Whatever he said at that point in time, and he was doing both shows, and he just had to deal with. He was kind of like a manager figure. Like, so for example, I have a supervisor and I have to go things through my supervisor and they have to elevate it to their supervisor. That's what he was. He was just the delegator. He was just the person in between Vince and the talent. Okay. Fast forward a little bit to SmackDown, maybe a year ago. I honestly don't know how long ago. Out of nowhere, SmackDown goes, "Hey, we're introducing a new GM." And it's this guy. And I say this guy because the WWE audience didn't know who this guy was at the very beginning. There's like, "Hey, Aldis is your new GM." And everyone was like, "Well, what's happening?" Right? Nobody knows who this guy is ever. Like he's never appeared on WWE television. So it was like the weirdest introduction to a GM ever. But then as time goes on, you realize who he is and what he's out for and what his motivations are. So they kind of are building from the bottom. Both characters are building from the bottom. And now we know who they are. Adam Pearce is a good guy who just wants the show to run smoothly. And he actually disciplines the bad guys and sympathy for the good guys. The other dude over there on SmackDown, Aldis, he's more of a snake. But he's not a true heel. But he will sympathize with the heels. And he'll like let the heels get away with certain things. But he'll also will maintain order. But he's always out for himself. He's a stepper. He's trying to climb the ladder. He's trying to get to the top. Anything to get to the top. Whether it's a bad guy helping a bad guy or helping a good guy, he will do it if it's the thing to get him to the top.
Okay.
So now we're established who these people are. With Christopher Daniels, it's hard to put him in this role because he was already established on TV as a wrestler, as a tag team champion, as someone who was already over his prime, way past his prime, but still could do it in the ring and still be entertaining. And people knew who he was.
Yep.
And then we didn't see him for 3 years. And then randomly he got fired. And then he's back. Like there was no, like to me, if you wanted to do this the right way, You could have had CD confront them in the back. I mean, there's a whole way to do it, but you could have
Yep.
had him in the back, like, "Hey man, like we're buddies. Thanks you guys hired me to be this talent relationship. Like, can you guys be easy on my talent? They're complaining to me, right? Because these talent relations. Hey, the talent's complaining to me, guys. Can you guys and have weeks of this and have it build up
Yep.
to something instead of just fired, rehired, GM. Like to me, that just and I know you agree and everyone else agree. CD could have worked, and he probably is going to work because I like CD.
Yep.
But it could have been so much. Just this goes to Tony Khan and booking for the Sickos. Nothing's planned. Nothing's planned anymore, Chris. Everything seems last
No,
minute.
it is, and that's what we're hearing. It's a lot of stuff. It's very Vince style. Going into the show hours before, probably Wednesday at lunchtime, they're still just getting the show started, figuring out what's going to happen. Because if you notice, there's a complete lack of matches announced a week before. You don't have Excalibur rattling through all those matches now on Dynamite, talking about next week's episode, which is something we've talked about on this show that we loved about them, is that there's something set in place, you know what to look forward to. And now it's just kind of like, we don't know, but maybe one match sometimes. Occasionally they'll throw out a card, but a lot of times we just know like maybe one match going into Dynamite, I feel like.
Yeah, just one match. And the one match doesn't even make sense. Like Roddy Strong versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. Every week it's defended. Every week it's defended against someone we know who's going to lose and who's going to win.
Yeah.
And that's the only match that's ever announced. It's not getting viewers. It's not working. I don't know the ratings this week. I didn't care. Don't care, actually, about the ratings. I do care about this. I care that Tony Khan gets off social media. I care that Tony Khan, seriously, like get off social media. Stop. I listened to Eric Bischoff. And yes, I'm plugging other people's podcasts and I'm telling people what I listen to, yada, yada, yada. Makes me an AEW hater now. Fine, whatever. But he said something important to me, or not to me, but he said something important. He goes, when he worked in AEW, Dixie Carter used to, in TNA, Dixie Carter booked the shows in TNA. She would book the shows and sit in Gorilla and just be on Twitter the whole show, seeing people's reactions, seeing people what they want, what they don't like. Mostly, of course, the bad stuff, because you want to see what they don't like, and she wants to get a bigger reaction. So she was booking for Twitter. She was booking for the smaller audience. She was booking for the Sickos. Seriously, like this is a correlation. So then you have this billionaire who has a tremendous opportunity on TNT and on TBS, on national television. You have an opportunity. You have stars. You have Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson. The list goes on. We can sit here and name 20 people that probably can main event a show, right? We probably could. And instead of him seeing the future and seeing what he has and seeing what he could do, he's on Twitter and he's seeing all the remarks. He's replying to all the people like us. He's replying to all the PWI torch. He's replying to everyone from Fightful to these smaller places to everyone. And what he should be doing is talking to his creative, talking to his employees, bouncing off ideas and figuring this out, instead of being on Twitter responding to people with 400 followers. And then what happens? Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing happens. Nothing gets better because he's too busy on Twitter checking out what people are saying instead of actually seeing what the numbers are, seeing how the decline is. I saw a video, and the attendance thing's always been a huge issue, but I saw a video of Will Ospreay, probably the best wrestler in the world, coming out of the entrance. And of course, the fan was recording the video, and there wasn't a soul in the stands on the hard camera side. That's the problem, Tony. Not people on Twitter, not the 1% of your viewership. Us sickos on Twitter. That's who you're booking for, and that's why you're failing, and that's why the business is failing. That's why they're not making money. That's why he's upset with the deal, the rumored deal he's upset with. Because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're worried about RTW Chris. You're worried about, Jobber Nation. You're worried about WWE Gareth. You're not worried about maybe the network or maybe your professional wrestlers, your employees, the stories.
No.
You're not worried about that. You're worried about the sicko fans because you are one. And you said that yourself on Twitter.
It's it's probably a lot of time and energy wasted worrying about what people are saying online when you could be investing that time coming up with better ideas. And I get like exactly what you're saying here, because I know whenever I used to do like a lot of event planning, I didn't spend too much time online worried about every little individual negative comment.
Mhm.
Let me just kind of get a consensus feel of things. Do we like this direction? Do we want to go that direction? But I'm not going to worry about small details, and I'm not going to get hung up on them, start going sideways at people. It's just not worth your time. And then it takes your focus and it takes your energy out of the product. So I don't know. Again, I'd really like to know if Cody was really the ingredient there that was really keeping everything going, because I don't know. It just seems all over the place these days.
Yeah, it seems like a person who lost his loved one and he's just spiraling out of control and
Yeah.
he thinks he's doing a great job like going it seems like I hate to say this but you're in a relationship, boom, it goes bad, then you're out at the bars every night, you're out at the casino, you're just doing all these things you shouldn't be doing but you think it's great, you're having a great time, but in the meantime your credit's going down, your life's going down, you're doing terrible at your job, everything's just in a downward spiral, and that's how I
Yep.
feel. It's still afloat, like you're still gonna make it, you're still gonna survive, but just not as well as you were before. And that's what's going on right now. I feel like they're in survival mode, and the whole company is. And at this point, I don't know if there's any saving it. Like I'm watching the death of of WCW. Who killed WCW? Watch episode 1. It was awesome. We don't know who killed WCW because there were so many factors.
No,
I think we know who's going to kill AEW.
we know already.
Yeah,
How long do you think it'll be? I'm not as I'm not as down on it as you are. I mean, I am down on the product a little bit, but not that much. I'm
I
not worried
think
about the death of it just yet.
if they don't land a TBS or TNT deal with Warner Brother, if they go somewhere else, they will fail. It'll be over.
If they get like a small network,
Yeah, it'll be over.
yeah,
It will be. TNA did the same thing, and they were only on Spike. They weren't even on some big, they were on Spike. And then once they lost Spike, they lost everything.
no,
And I think that everyone wants to compare, AEW to WCW. They're more like TNA. They're more like TNA. They weren't getting the viewership as WCW, although the viewership's down everywhere in wrestling. But they're bringing in the big stars. They are. But again, TNA did too. TNA brought Christian Cage in. TNA brought all these Kurt Angles. Like they brought in big stars from WWE. Jeff Hardy in his prime. Sting. They brought in Hulk Hogan was there. They brought in big names, just like AEW did. But AEW will never reach a success as WCW, right? They never will. We won't see BCC shirts in 20 years from now. You see NWO shirts.
it's yeah, but it's hard to replicate anything from back then, because think about it, the way that there's it's a lot more watered down market today, just TV in general. That's why you don't see a lot of those numbers what they used to be for anything. You look, even WWE isn't pulling numbers that they used to years ago. But how many more options are there now than there used to be before? Before, at most, you had what, 60 cable channels? If you had cable, and not everyone did, most people, like when I was at my dad's house, we had like the 8 basic TV channels to choose from. That was it. You could pick one of 8 programs on TV. So Friday nights or Thursday nights, SmackDown was on. I was watching that because, like, what else was there? Like a Home Shopping Network, a rerun of some sitcom that I don't watch, the news. I had one of 8 choices, and SmackDown was one of my 8 choices to watch. Or if you had cable, you could watch Raw, and there's about 60 other choices. Now, think about it now. Between, you still have YouTube TV or whatever, Sling, whatever you've got all those choices, but you have Netflix and all of those choices. You have, Prime, HBO, whatever, your phone. There's a lot more choices now. So it's definitely no one's ever going to reach those levels of Prime, WWE, and WCW TV ratings. It's
You're
just
right.
not going to happen.
No one's ever going to reach those, and I understand that.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. But man, I don't ever see. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see WCW selling 1,200 tickets in a
Yeah.
30,000 or 18,000 people arena.
No,
right? Like that's
it's
I
not
don't know.
good. It's not good right now on the hard cam
It,
side. It's really bad. I know it's not ever going to be full over there because you got to have a lot of cleared out space, but I've seen that a couple of times now where the hard cam side just looks completely empty.
yeah, and it's just bad for the talent. I feel bad for the talent. They're doing their best, and they're just being booked into this disaster. Let's get into the show. Let's get to Dynamite, though. Let's get to Dynamite. That was enough of Tony Khan and his nonsense. We had a good segment with MJF at the front. Good promo, calling out pretty much everyone all
Yep.
at once, as he should. We called out Will Ospreay, called out. We called out Will Ospreay, called out. Who else did he call out?
And call it Swerve.
Swerve, of course. Swerve he said he
Yep.
can't talk, which I think Swerve's a good promo. So I don't
Yep.
know what that was about. He called out someone in the beginning. Who else did he call out?
He's basically just getting right back into where he left off from earlier. Because remember, on his way out before he took this little break, he was in a feud with like 6 or 7 different people.
Oh yeah, he
It
was.
feels like he took a break, had his little bit of time off. Now he's back and he's like picking up right there, and he's just going after all these different people in his promo.
Yeah, it was. It seems like he just wants to pick a fight with everyone.
Yep.
He rattled off the names where he beat all these legends, and of course, Ospreay beat nobody of them. He didn't name CM Punk, which he named Cody Rhodes. It's funny how Cody Rhodes can be said on TV, but CM Punk cannot.
Yeah.
It is what it is at this point. Great promo. He's back. It seems like he's going to be a good guy, but with a twist, of course. And that's the way he should be. That's the way Swerve should have been, by the way. Swerve should have been a bad guy with a twist. People still cheer him, but he should still act bad. It is what it is. Hopefully he gets back to that. My question to you is, how long until MJF's not like how long until he's a champion again?
Until he's a champion again? It's hard to say because they have so many so many really big stars in the company now. And I feel like is Ospreay going to get a chance before MJF gets a second chance at a title? It's hard to say. I never know. Kenny's a wild card always because, like, is he going to come back and have one more title run? There's so many variables there, but I'd say maybe within 2 years, put him back on top.
I believe him and Ospreay are going to main event All In.
Yeah,
it could turn into a triple threat, knowing Tony's booking, because he probably doesn't think it's fair to Swerve to lose right away. So they might have a situation where Ospreay and Swerve finishes kind of weird. Maybe Ospreay wins, or maybe Swerve wins in a weird way. Doesn't matter at this point. But I do think the biggest match you have at All In is MJF and Ospreay. And if you want to sell that place out again, that's the biggest match you could possibly put on. In the world of wrestling, you can't care about people's feelings. Sorry, Swerve, we got to take it off you. You know why? You're just not drawing as much as, and it's not Swerve's fault. Swerve's wrestling Roddy. And you know what else tells me about this, Chris? Tony is big on he defended the title this many times. Swerve is defending this title every week, every single week, just so he can say, I defended the title. I was the fighting champion. I wasn't a transitional champion. Every time a champion does that, Joe did it, Swerve did it. They lose the title that fast.
Okay.
Trust me on this, guys. He's going to drop the title to Ospreay. It's going to be Ospreay and MJF. I don't think it's a triple threat. Can't be.
Okay.
That won't sell. That won't sell as much.
But you said MJF being champion again.
Okay.
So do you think MJF is going to win it right then? Probably not, right? That's why I said within 2 years. I didn't say fighting for the championship. I said become champion. Was your question?
Okay. In the championship discussion, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. Well then, yeah, within a few months, I could definitely see him back in the title picture for sure.
It has to be.
Totally different question.
So let me ask you this. And I said this on Twitter. And I said this on Twitter. If Cody Rhodes came back, Randy Orton came back, if the face of your company came back, cutting a promo, let's say, just think in your mind. Let's not even use those. Let's use Seth Rollins because he's out right now. Let's use CM Punk. CM Punk comes back, and he's on WWE television, calling out Drew McIntyre, calling out Seth Rollins, calling out, Roman Reigns. And then we see a little old Angel Garza come out and talk trash to him and start what? When they played Rush's music I'm like, who is that? Is that someone new? Is that his New Japan wrestler? Like, is he gonna fight at Forbidden Door? Like, who could this be? And it's Roosh. Who was that for? I'm getting mad. I'm getting upset. I gotta calm
for
it
the
down.
sickos.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would you ruin? He hasn't been on television. He's been on the pay-per-view. He wasn't on Dynamite. This is his first time on Dynamite. And you're gonna have Roosh, a no name. Of course, he's great. Like, I like him. I do like him. Hold on, Chris. Don't.
I wouldn't quite call him a no name, but
But
I
when
get
you're
what you mean.
but when you're booked like a no name,
Yeah.
and you don't win matches, and you haven't won a title, you haven't been in a main event picture, you haven't been in a story, and you come out and you interrupt your biggest name. Are you like, would you accept that if it was The Rock? And yes, I'm putting MJ up on that level because MJF's carrying that show. He's drawing the ratings. He is a generational talent. Everything he says is true.
Yep.
So if The Rock, remember when Chris Jericho, when he debuted, interrupted The Rock? That was Chris Jericho, though.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was the Blue Meanie. Now, the Blue Meanie might be great. He might be the best, he might be awesome. But when you book someone like crap for 3 years and he comes out and he should have just got beat down by MJF in 5 seconds because we just saw him do it on the pay-per-view to Adam Cole, who's a bigger star.
No.
He came out there, hit Adam Cole in the nuts, boom, gone out. But we got Roos with some big breakup. Like it's like freaking, Andre and Hogan. Like it's freaking the biggest rivalry in history of AEW. What is happening?
But who do they put in that spot? Because I don't think they would want to burn one of their regular wrestlers because of the fact that Forbidden Door is coming up next. So you're not gonna have another big AEW star come interrupt them because they're not gonna have a program together at Forbidden Door. So the timing of when he's coming back, like who do you throw out there at that point? You're going to throw a jobber out there. That's what you're going to do. I get what you're saying, and I think it's just a timing issue. If he was coming back after Forbidden Door, then you could throw out a bigger name person there, someone a little bit more legitimate, or at least a mid card, upper mid card level person or above.
Didn't you think it was silly though? Like, didn't you think it was silly? Like, oh, Roosh. I'm sure I can name 3 to 4 different people that could have been a better option who you could have had beat them and could have thought, oh yeah, that's a good feud for MJF.
But would it be a good feud at Forbidden Door though? That's where I'm saying they're kind of stuck right now.
Well, that's Tony's fault for booking a pay-per-view nobody cares about.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. With the spot that it's one of those booked into a corner situations. Like, who do you put there?
Why does MJF why does he have to wrestle at Forbidden Door?
Because he's a big draw. You just said it. He's the biggest draw in the company. Why wouldn't you want him there?
I know, but I just don't want. To me, Forbidden Door is such a useless pay-per-view. It's a waste of time. Honestly, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I had to watch CMLL on my show. If I wanted to watch CMLL, if I wanted to watch people in masks with no identity and no charisma, I would go watch CMLL.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anyone apart, and not because of, obviously, it's just because they're all in masks. If everyone's in a mask, then nobody's in a mask.
Yeah.
It's just driving me crazy. I just don't need to see that. And this is a feud that happened like 6 months ago when we're redoing it. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Everyone's healthy now. We can redo it. It's all right. We just got to make it through this month of wrestling, and then we're past the Forbidden Door. I think Forbidden Door, remember in the beginning, we were very hyped for it in the beginning. It was such a cool concept in the beginning. But I feel like it needs to grow and evolve. And by that, I mean, we need some other promotions on there other than New Japan or CMLL. Like, we need to get TNA on there, but I don't know if that'll happen because they're kind of like going with WWE now. And ultimately, we need WWE to be on that pay-per-view at some point down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Could you imagine? That would be, I mean, that was really the point of it. I feel like when it came out was the cross brand, but the ultimate goal is to get at least, because we never truly got the crossover between WCW and WWE that we wanted because of all those terrible contracts at the time of the merger and everything. So this is like what wrestling fans have wanted for years, is for there to be 2 bigger companies to be able to send wrestlers back and forth and to have a pay-per-view for it.
Do you think that'll ever happen in our lifetime? And if not, who do you think holds it back? Who do you think's the problem?
Do I think it'll happen in our lifetime? Now that Vince is gone, that opens up a possibility some. With Vince there, I didn't think it would ever happen because I used to think Vince was the problem. I thought he was the biggest problem. Now Tony's the biggest problem because, like, I have so much respect for Triple H. I've always wanted him to take over for the longest time. I'm so glad that he took over WWE. But I wouldn't blame him for like looking over and looking at Tony's Twitter and the way he's acting and just being like, that's not who I want to do business with. Like, if you want to act professional and we can make something work. But if this is how you're going to act, kicking and screaming like a child, then I'm good. I'll pass. So right now, I think it's going to be on Tony's side that it's not going to be a possibility. Now, could it happen somewhere down the road? I'm not going to rule it out just yet because we don't know what the future of AEW holds. At any point, does Cody decide to maybe go back? We never thought he would leave. So what's to say he doesn't go back? And maybe he doesn't go back with the intention of trying to bridge the companies. And then he's more like, hey, let me deal with Triple H. Let me work out a deal where we can do some collaboration over here. Let me finish building because, like, yes, he's always wanted to go win the title. That was always so important to him, right? That was the biggest goal of his. That's why he left, recreated himself, and went back. That was the ultimate goal. But now he's going to have done that. And now it's like, what's the next great thing he could do in his career after this? If even, let's say he goes a few years, he's a top star now, he's champion, maybe has another title reign. The way that he could really build on his legacy, I think, is to come back and build AEW. Now he's built himself as a wrestler. Now he can come back and work on AEW again and build that as a company. And with that, if he was there and in the right spot, I think he could work something out with Triple H eventually. Because obviously they've been able to mend their fences for him to be able to go back and become a champion under Triple H's watch. So it's possible, but not right now, not anytime soon.
It just seems to me that Cody and Tony's relationship has fizzled out. They're no longer in communication. I don't believe, not that I know anything, I'm just going off of what I believe from the documentaries and from what Cody said in the past. I believe that in Tony Khan's press release after Cody left, Tony made sure to let everyone know that he's the man in charge and that Cody is no longer, nobody else is. I believe Cody leaving is the reason why, Kenny Omega and all those guys really lost their power. They have zero power in real life. And hey, Mark, just in case you guys know, it's a TV show. They're EVPs, but they have no power. It's well documented. That's another reason why Cody probably left. And then okay, Cody doesn't have to leave and go back. I don't think Cody's ever going to go back. I don't think he's too big for that now. That'd be like John Cena going there. That'd be like The Rock going over there. It would be. Cody is
quite at that level.
But he's getting there, Chris. And you're not watching WWE television enough to know. Like, he's getting there. He's never gonna turn heel. I do this other show called No Holds Barred on Finstock Sport Network on Saturday, and Bobby believes that Cody's gonna turn heel, and this is all a big setup. And it's like, no, because you know why? When Roman was babyface, people booed him because he sucked.
Yep.
Cody's babyface, in my opinion, he sucks. I think he's a terrible babyface. I hate the crying. I hate everything he does. But guess what? 90% of those people out there, they love him. They're doing the whoa thing. They're doing everything. They love him. He is going to be the next face of the company, whether you guys like it or not. So why would he ever give that up? He finally got what he wanted. All he wanted was to be on top, to be the top guy and the biggest in the ocean. He wanted to be the great white.
Nope.
And he is now. He is. He made it there. He's a made man in WWE forever. He's now a Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as all-time greats. When they do the introduction to Raw, you know how they do the woo and all that stuff. You're going to get the whoa in there one day. You are. Yep. It's just the way it is. But that being said, there is a way, because he does know Cody and he knows the Bucks and he knows Kenny and he's still friends with them, guys. In case you didn't notice, he's still friends with them. they could be the one mending the bridge and going, hey, man, we don't have to do a bunch of stuff, but why can I go, hey, Hunter, Triple H, whoever, can I go wrestle at Forbidden Door? Boom, that opens the door. It probably
Yep.
won't happen soon because of the whole relationship situation, how they don't really like each other right now.
Yep.
Maybe they're working on that. Cody's a politician. Well, you guys, he's a politician. He will, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but he will attach himself to whatever's working at the time and work his way to the top. He did it in ROH. He did it with the Bucks. He did it with AEW. He did it with Tony Khan. Now he's doing it over there in Triple H, with Triple H and WWE. It's not a bad thing. He could be the one to open up the forbidden door for WWE. One day, we don't know when, 3 years from now, all of a sudden he shows up on Dynamite. All of a sudden we set up a forbidden door. And then what happened in WWE? All of a sudden we get Mickey James back from TNA. Then we get Jordan Grace. Now we're getting more talent in here.
Mm-hmm.
Little by little. That's how they work it out.
Yep. It could happen one day. It's just I think we're a ways out from that happening, though, between those two companies working together.
It would just be best for business if they all just work together. But when you're working with a child, with a man-child, and you see, just guys, if you're an AEW mark, if you're a WWE mark, it doesn't matter. Just go watch the press conferences and see a Triple H interview and go watch a Tony Khan interview. And you tell me who you trust more. If you said, hey, if you had your phone and you were at the beach and they were just chilling, hey, watch my phone for me. This is a small little thing, right? Small little thing. But watch my phone for me, please. Don't fuck it up. I'm handling the Triple H 100 out of 100 times. Just I trust him. Don't trust Tony. Tony's a crazy person. From what we see, yeah, he's a sicko. He's a sicko
for sure.
He's a sicko. So that's that segment. So AEW had some more fun, crazy stuff. Let me ask you this: Did Stone Cold Steve Austin ever go from Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon, having this huge feud with Team AEW, and then after that feud, Triple H is feuding with Minion? I'm asking a question.
Not that I can remember.
So why are the Young Bucks, who just did this huge program with Tony Khan, they just beat Team AEW, and their first feud is with the dead, buried, never thought about anymore, Acclaimed?
You're gonna put the Acclaimed on the level of Midian?
I'm just saying, like, someone
Midian was never over. That was a terrible comparison.
Someone who's not a factor. Someone who's not a factor.
Man, you're dogging the Acclaimed.
They're just not a factor. They're not. I'm sorry. I love the Acclaimed. Everyone loves the Acclaimed.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, but that's who they're meddling with. They're meddling with mid-carders, a mid-card tag team.
Hey, a former tag team champion.
Now I understand that the Young Bucks are
champions.
I understand that
champions.
The Young Bucks are tag team champions and they have to defend their titles against somebody.
Yeah.
I get that. But shouldn't they be? What I'm saying is they went from big to very small.
Wait, who do you want to see them go against? FTR?
No. All you have to do.
Because you were on the show saying that they face the same people over and over again. Now they're facing somebody new, and you don't like that either. You just don't like the Young Bucks, I think.
No. All you have to do is this. I already thought about it. All you have to do is this. Young Bucks in the ring. We're the EVPs. We're the tag team champions. No one's on our level. We can't be stopped. We try to give the tag team or the TNT title to Jack Perry. Yada yada yada. They're just complaining about whatever. But guess what? Since we can't give our title to Jack Perry or whatever you just want to say, we're not defending these titles until we find someone worthy or blah, blah, blah. Just have them use their power to say we're not defending our titles. Christopher Daniels comes out. Oh, did you forget about me? I'm the EVP guy. And let me tell you something. I found some people in the back that think that they want their titles back and they have blah, 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 blah. Then you introduce the Acclaim. Yo, listen. And they cut a rap. If that's the way you want to feud them, make it look like the baby face EVP is bringing some baby face tag teams in for the evil EVPs to then they can go against, and then you build them up because guess what? They're feuding against the top talent now, the Acclaimed. Instead, we get because you know what that puts the heat on Christopher Daniels because that gets him involved as the babyface freaking GM.
Yeah.
And then you have the
Go
EVPs
straight
going
up
like,
against them. Yeah.
yeah, instead of them going, oh, we're gonna pick fights with the lowest people on the totem pole. That just makes them look silly. That makes them look irrelevant. You just beat Bryan Danielson in FTR in an Anarchy match in Darby Allin. And now you're going to go, oh, let's go to the bottom of the card. No offense to the Acclaimed. I love them. But this is a way to build them up. Why have a babyface GM if he's not going to do this to try to screw over the EVPs, the elite?
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels' whole job right now is to go, how do I get even with Matthew and Nicholas? Okay, I'll just run out this babyface. Okay, they lose. That's fine. They run out this babyface team. Okay, then eventually, obviously, they fall to Team AEW, and that's eventually down the road.
Yep.
Instead of just I don't know, Chris. Am I crazy?
So it wasn't so much that it was the Acclaimed. It was the presentation, how they brought them out.
Yes,
that's got you bothered. Okay, that's better than calling them Midian.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say this. Like I'm the lowest. I'm a low portion in my position. If the CEO of my company, Trisha, if she is like in my all of a sudden on Teams, Josh, you're doing this wrong. I'm like, shouldn't she be delegating that? Why are they the big time EVPs, the important people, the highest people you could possibly get on, cutting segments from freaking the Acclaim? Shouldn't they be delegating that to somebody else? If that was a thing.
No.
So if you're going to act powerful, if you're going to say you are powerful, if you're going to be an EVP, act the part so I can go, oh, wow, I'm going to take him serious. I'm going to take Matthew and Nicholas serious.
Yeah, they're more jokey. They're more jokey EVPs. They're not super serious EVPs, which I know drives you insane because their whole thing is to just keep cutting people off. They cut the music at the pay-per-view and then here comes the Acclaim. I think that's why they picked them was so that they could cut them off, them doing what, an act that everybody loves. And that's kind of the angle they're going for. But it's more jokey, funny stuff, not serious stuff.
And it's not working for me. And it's not working for a lot of people. I don't know if it's working for you. You haven't really given your opinion on it.
I mean, it's all right. It could be better. I don't hate it as much as you do, but
you know why I hate it? I hate it because I want it. I like it. I like the idea. I hate it because I like the idea and they're fumbling it.
Yeah.
That's why I hate it so much because we have something that we could have something tremendous. We could have something fantastic, but instead we're getting the watered down version of it.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part of it.
Yep.
It's like you spend all this money into a movie, like say, for example, Star Wars episode, 1 through 3, the Anakin's, when he was a kid.
Yep.
Put all this money in these movies. We get hyped for it. You put out. I remember buying Pepsi cans because you could find the gold Yoda can, right? You guys probably don't know that stuff, but I was so hyped for these movies, and they just sucked. Every single one of them. And it's like you put so much marketing, you put so much into it. It was such a good idea. The backstory of Darth Vader, right? How it all happened, how it all started, how the war started. But you sucked. You flopped. You blew it. And that's what they're doing right now. They're blowing a genius idea. A really good idea. Something they haven't had in years. And they're failing at it. And that's sad. To me, that's sad.
Yeah. No, I get the frustration. That's why I had stopped watching WWE this time around. Whenever Vince was still in charge, I saw they had some good ideas along the way. They had some really good wrestlers, but it felt like they were fumbling all the time with everybody. And it got frustrating because I'm like, no, like you're so close to doing this and that. Like my biggest example is always, I'm a big Sami Zayn guy. And I felt like there was times when I'm like, he is red hot right now. Why don't you pull the trigger on him to do something? Like, I really wished he would have had a chance to a world title. I knew that was never going to happen. Like, give him an Intercontinental title years ago, like what, 2015, 2016. And it was just like, they did nothing with him. Every time they would like tease, like they're about to do something with him. And it's like, nope, we're going to do nothing with him again. Right back down to the bottom.
Psych.
And it would frustrate me so bad. So like I get your frustration of seeing an idea, seeing a direction they could go, and they're close, but they're just making a small turn there, and it's just completely not what you want.
It would work if Nick was the dumb, like, because in being the elite, like he's the dumb, like he's the one, like, oh yeah, like whatever, like he's the funny one, right?
No.
I like Nick. Nick's the cool one. And if Matt's incapable. Matthew, he's incapable of acting, which whatever. I'm not a good actor either, but I'm not trying to be one. He's terrible at acting. It's the way he talks, like the way he puts on a cartoon character act. And it's like I don't want a cartoon character. I don't want Yosemite Sam as an EVP.
That's what I was just thinking the way you said that.
Yeah, like I don't need that. I want a serious, like talk seriously. Be serious. And then if you want to have the goofball, have Nick in the back, like oh yeah, that's what we said. Like, we always have the bully in every bad guy, kid movie. There's always the big bully, and then always the one in the back going, yeah, yeah. Like you could have easily done that if you wanted that situation. If you wanted that. The only serious person in the elite, and I will give this guy props because we're gonna move on, is Jack Perry. He's the only serious act in the elite. Even Okada, oh, try these on, right? Like it is what he'll fuck you, bitch. Like, he always has these comedy lines.
Yeah.
Okada should be treated like a serious threat. He is a serious threat, but he's being portrayed as like the comedy freaking Jackie Chan Rush Hour.
Yep.
And Jack Perry, I'm going to give him props because he's cutting amazing promos. I think he's doing a good job compared to what he was before. Remember that nonsense? That was awful.
Oh, at the whenever he's doing the 4 pillars thing.
Yeah. He's a totally different person now.
Yep.
Now he's still small and he still got choked out, and they thought that was going to work. But man, the way he speaks, the way he, remember in the back where homeboy Briscoe won, beat Brian Cage. And he's in the back like, this is unfair, but I'm going to get you. Like, he actually did a good job cutting that promo. I believed him, even though he's 5'5". I still believed him. Good for him. I'm just saying. Hey, positivity, guys. He's doing awesome. I think Jack Perry is doing great right now.
Oh yeah, he's definitely benefited from everything that's happened over the last few months. Yes. Taking full advantage of it.
It's like he got confidence. Like, I don't know what happened after that. Like, hey, getting my ass kicked really made me feel like I'm a tough guy now.
Yeah.
I don't like, maybe that was his first fight ever. I don't know. But I will say this, ever since then, I'm not joking, like he's done a great job at promos, looking tough, acting the part. He's what I want the Bucks to be. Why can't they act like him? Why can't they be tough? Why can't they be serious? Jack Perry's right. I think Jack Perry should win the TNT title.
Yeah, I could see that down the road. And I could see for the Young Bucks, they need to almost do like over in the WWE what the Usos did. Remember whenever they were babyface and they were like jumping around and like jokey, whatever. And it kind of grew tired and stale and everything. And then they changed their gimmick and it worked for them so much better. And I could just see the Young Bucks benefiting from that same thing. Not screwing around so much, and just so we could take them serious. Like it would work a lot better for their heel character.
I agree. Their funny heels are cool sometimes because there are a lot of fun, good funny heels. There's always been good funny heels.
Yeah.
But when it's over the top, like you're watching an episode of Seinfeld, that's where I lose it. That's where we all lose it. And we all made fun of the 24/7 championship segments. We made fun of basically anything WWE did back in Vince's days. This feels like a Vince storyline or Vince characters.
The jokey heel stuff could work, but maybe not if you're trying to push this storyline of like you're at the very top, you're the EVP running the company. That's where we want you to take it serious. We want you to be like a suit, like a CEO of a big, Fortune 500 company, serious, evil, whatever. That's what we're looking for.
Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for. Last thing on tonight's show, we are going to talk about anything you want to talk about. You, Chris. Now, there was Mariah May match versus Paige Saraya. I hope you didn't watch it because it was god-awful. There was a situation where we had Roddy Strong wrestle Swerve. Didn't watch it, guys. Sorry. Full disclosure, I turned this show off during the CMLL match.
I
Not
had a
only
feeling you would.
not only did I turn it off, I unplugged my cable box. And I'm not being dramatic. The other day, this is a story for all the show.
Why?
My little circuit breaker thing, my I guess power surge thing. It had my Wi-Fi, my router, my cable box, and my PlayStation 5 all plugged into it. It's been like that for years. And I have another one over here for my computer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I come back from a walk, and all of a sudden, like every room has power except for our bedroom, where all the stuff is, where I'm at right now. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I go down circuit breaker, turn it on, walk upstairs, still no power, tripped again. Test it, it has a little tester thing. Test. I'm like, what the hell? So I unplug everything. I unplug this over here, unplug that, unplug. I don't unplug PlayStation because if you do that, it corrupts things. It sucks. It was already turned off anyway, so who cares, right? But I kept that on just because I didn't want to mess with that. Still nothing. I'm like, God damn it, what the hell? So then I finally unplugged that, and then power. So my circuit thing broke. My power strip broke. So now I have very limited plugs over here. So for work, I haven't had a cable box all week. That's why I haven't watched cable all week.
I haven't had a cable box in like 4 years.
Well, I still have cable because I'm 58 million years old. But all that being said was I plugged in I unplugged like one of the things, like one of the non-things I don't need. Forgot what it was. I plugged in the cable box. I went for it to boot. Went on demand. Saw the AW. I was so mad about the CML lounge. I got up off my chair. I went to the damn outlet and I said, whoosh, yank. I said, I'm done. I don't need to watch CMLO. I don't need to watch the BCC. That's nonsense.
No.
That's all I had to say.
Okay.
Long story short, that's all I caught. That's why I can't really talk about anything else because I stopped watching the show.
No. Okay.
I couldn't do it, Chris. Guys, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Just can't do it. I was going to say for this week, something I noticed, and I feel like some other people kind of commented on it, and going back to what I was saying at the beginning of the show, they made some small tweaks that just didn't work this week. And one of the things that I can point at directly that I feel like they made a small tweak and it didn't work was your boy Chris Jericho and his character. I did not like it this week, and I've liked it like the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I felt like I could see what the tweak was, which was it seems like they saw it was catching on. It was finally people were back on with Chris Jericho, me and you both, and they're like, "Oh, people are liking this character. Let's just really turn it up this week." And it was just like he was trying like way too hard and way too much, and it just didn't work. They need to just little tweak, just feed us little bits of it here and there. And it just felt like they were trying to make it too much of a focal point, and it just fell flat for me.
I 1000%, 1,000,000% agree. It was, one segment is fine and make it, tie it into a story. But when you arrive in the first, hi guys, hi, and then, oh, the cameraman, here's how you, okay, if that's what you want to do, okay, that segment sucked, but it is what it is. And then you're in the catering. Here's how you put dumplings. And then you're over here. And you get, I think it was 5 cutaways, 6. It just seemed like there was too many.
It was too much.
You're right. I think they go, Chris Jericho was like, oh, wow, finally, they're into me again. Tony Khan was like, oh, wow, they're finally into Jericho again. Yep. And so they just said, do it all. Boom, give them, like, it's like someone that goes to, like, a brewery, do it all. The wheel, give me the everything. Give me the what are those things?
The flight.
The flight. I don't drink anymore. Give me the flight. That's what it was. It's like, no, can I just have one beer? Like, I just want to enjoy one. I'm not a big fan of flights. I'm not a flight guy.
You're not a flight guy?
You seem like a flight guy.
I am a flight guy. I like variety. I like to sample a little bit of everything.
So then you would love the Chris Jericho segment because there's a little bit of everything. He's talking to the cameraman, talking to the dumplings guy, talking to this guy.
The people when he was coming in. But what killed me on that opening segment is whenever he came in and he's going, hi guys, and he's like waving. And then they like turn the camera around to watch him walk in, and there's like nobody out there. Yeah. Or there was like one person there. I'm like, who is he waving to?
Probably the cameraman, because he talked right to the cameraman.
No, but like outside of the cameraman, there was like one additional person outside or something.
Hey, Chris, they got bored to tears and walked away. They walked away. They're like, this sucks.
This is so bad.
Big Bill, hi guys, and then we got Brian Keith. Oh, I don't even know what he said. Don't even care what he said. Don't even know who he is. Don't even know.
No
who
idea.
He is. Don't care who he is. No, good point,
much.
Chris. Good point on that one. too much Chris Jericho is a thing, little by little could work.
And the subtleness of it was part of what made it work. Just a little quick, comes in, does a little quick thing, little quick jab at somebody, and then he's out, and that's it.
Yes. Like I
That's
know
what made it work. That is part of what made it work. I didn't realize it until this week, but that's part of what made it work. Too much is definitely bad.
it is. And I believe they ran so after a Chris Jericho segment, because I did say for this, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I believe directly after a Chris Jericho learning tree segment, it cut into Danny Garcia's promo or video package of him talking about growing up in Buffalo and this and that and this. That was a well done thing, and all these things that held him back. He's like, "Oh, this held me back," or this or that. I worked harder. I worked harder. It's ironic that Chris Jericho, the one who truly held him back,
Yep.
was right before him.
Yep.
That was just ironic. Ironic timing. It couldn't have been a coincidence.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about that last night or two nights ago.
I thought about it right away.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because he's like, "Oh, I grew up in Buffalo and I had this condition and they said I couldn't make it." And then all I could think about was, you could have already been the international championship, or you could have been if you would have just left.
At that moment. That moment when he had to decide which direction to go. You could see the moment his career had a chance to really take off or disappear. And sadly, they had him choose the route of disappearing.
It wasn't they. It was one person.
Yeah.
And they already talked about it on Chris Jericho's podcast. They talked about the whole thing. Chris Jericho requested that he didn't join. And Danny wanted to join.
And what is that? Like, I don't know. I'd like to know Chris Jericho's thoughts on that now.
He doesn't care.
He wanted to go. You wanted him held back. I know he doesn't care, but I'd like to see someone ask him, like, you had this guy, you help him take that first step and make it to where we care about him, whatever. And the natural progression of his character and the story should have seen him leave to go to the BCC. Instead, you held him back. And where is he now?
Where is he now?
He's been irrelevant since then.
But he's such a good wrestler, and I'm rooting for him, and he's someone I want to see go over to NXT.
Yeah.
So bad. We got Ethan Page over there. That's great. I like Ethan Page. Let's go see Danny Garcia. Yeah. Go over there.
If they're not going to use him, go ahead and go.
Run as fast as you can. Don't look back.
Yep.
I hope. Gosh, it'd be awesome. But hey, we are going to get out of here. It's your Friday night. I know you're probably going to go watch SmackDown, Chris. Like, you're excited for Solo Sequoia. You're excited for the Tamatangas and Tonga Tongas. They have one person's last name is the other person's first name. I don't understand what's happening over there. No. But we got Tamatanga and Tonga Taipo. The Bloodline. It's great. Look, SmackDown was good last week, and I am going to go tune. I got to turn my cable box back on. I gotta go to Home Depot, Chris. I gotta go to Home Depot. I gotta go get for a freaking new Power Surge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can have all my things plugged back in. It sucks when I want to play PlayStation now. Oh, I want to watch cable now. Like, I have to pick and choose what I plug in.
Why don't you just order it from Amazon today, overnight, and you could have it at your house tomorrow morning at like 7 a.m.
Chris, I'm a person. Last time I overnighted something, I bought something on the internet. I bought shoes that are about 2 sizes too big, even though they're the same exact size I wear on every other shoe. So I'm going to the store to physically. By the way, guys,
are you going to buy a surge protector 2 sizes too big?
You never know. You never know. And I will close on this. People are talking trash about the Young Bucks shoes, saying that they're whatever, this and that. They still legitimately sold out everywhere. I went into the store, tried them on myself. I said, I can't afford these right now. But Nicholas and Matthew, I'm going to buy your shoes. Went in 2 days later, gone. Upsetting.
Yeah,
so
got to buy them right then and there next time. If there's ever a next time.
I'm so upset. You know why I tried those on? Because the dunks I bought were 2 sizes too big, even though they said 11.5. I wear 11.5. Guess what? Young Bucks shoes 11.5 fit. Guess what? My other shoes fit, but not the dunks I bought. So you learn your lesson, Chris. You go into the store physically. You own a cable box. You do the things we still did in the 90s.
No, I don't own a cable box. It's the worst.
Well, I own a cable box, and I enjoy my cable. But anyway, guys, we'll be back next week, either on Thursday or Friday, depending on baseball, depending on Chris's schedule. I want Clutch back on the show because we miss WWE conversations over here on Real Talk Wrestling. I know you do too, but if you want WWE conversations, go over to No Holds Barred. Me and Bobby, the boss, talking with the boss every single Saturday night, and we talk about a little WWE. And we're going to talk about who killed WCW as well. Chris, I want you to watch it so we can talk about it.
I will. I definitely will. That's one that interests me.
It's every Tuesday night on Vice, 10 p.m., but you can watch it on YouTube or you can watch on demand. You have YouTube TV. You could probably record it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll go record it now.
You set it up, and go watch tonight. You and Miranda get a box of cookies or whatever we eat. I eat vanilla wafers when I watch TV lately.
So random. Vanilla wafers in your cable box. Okay, Grandpa.
All right, guys. Enough. I'm out of here.